question is, why is there a need to read or write reports? Okay, very good, Abdullah. Oh, sorry, Shakar, very good. They covered, okay, very good. In a newspaper, stories are covered in detail. Um, detailed details of the events are given. Okay, I agree. Whereas in a telenews, the topic or the incident is not covered in a lot of detail. It is briefly covered. Okay, good. Can I have other people pour in their ideas? बेटे गलत लिख बोलें या सही बोलें, do participate, because that way you will you will learn. Okay, so those of you who are still not participating, I'd like you to please start typing in your answers. Khalid, I haven't received anything from you, bete. Please add in your thoughts. Share your thoughts, please. People who don't have cell phones, who really want to see what is going on in the world, can find out. Okay, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You need to have more knowledge about an incident. Okay, very good. Now, what happens is that at a school or even at home, if something happens, um, you were in trouble because of something, you fell, simple. You cut your finger or you fell down. What happens? Your mother, even in all that panic, oh, something has happened to my child. Even in all that panic, your mother will still, get to know the information. क्या हुआ क्या हुआ क्या हुआ कैसे चोट लग गई, isn't it so? And maybe the your cousins or your friends playing with you, they're going to start pouring in information. आंटी ऐसे हो रहा था और अचानक से ये गिर गया और इसको एक stone लग गया, and the stone ripped his skin, and so now he's bleeding. एक और बच्चा कहेगा नहीं नहीं मैंने देखा था कि जब ये गिरा तो इसके हाथ में इसका टॉय था और उस टॉय की जो छोटी सी सोर्ड थी वो इसको असल में लगी थी और उसके बाद इसको स्टोन लगा था. ठीक है. So the thing is, and then there would be a third person who might say that yes, we were playing and I was playing on the hill and I could see everything more clearly. And when what I saw was that that boy, let's say Ahmed, pushed him. Let's say Ahmed pushed Ali, and Ali fell down, and Ali was holding his toy, which had a sword in its hand, and that sword ripped through Ali's skin along with a stone that hurt his knee. So now you have three versions of the same incident. Get the idea? There's one from behind the child, there's one from the front of the child, and then there's third one, which is from a child standing on top of the hill. Okay, so what happens in the report is that you get multiple versions of people. Okay, and when you get to hear all three or four different versions of people, you combine them together, you combine the information which is similar in all of them, and then you also write down the information which is different, so that the reader will infer, take out the idea of what might have happened for rain. Okay? Reports are basically written to give out your version of what you saw happening. Okay? Now, today we are going to read a newspaper report. There are basically two reports, and both reports are about the same thing, but they are talking, they are describing things in two different versions. So, the first one, as you can read in your book, the following two newspaper reports were written under just under a month apart in August and September 2004. Report 1 explains the plan to retrieve the samples of sun dust sent back to Earth from a space probe. And Report 2 reports on what actually happened. So, the report that we are about to read is the one where um, we get to see the plans of how the probe will be caught. Can you please, can I have everyone mute themselves? 8 minutes. Ariba, please keep yourself muted until and unless I ask you to, okay? Okay. NASA is American Department of Space Exploration, and it stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. It's renowned explorational department of the Americans. Similar departments are there in multiple other countries. I'd like you to make a list and share it with me that what other countries are also into space exploration. Um, I will ask you guys to take turns and read this newspaper report. I have on my screen, as you can see, the original version of the same report that you have printed in your book. Um, this text has a lot of specialist vocabulary. Specialist vocabulary means vocabulary which is used specifically according to the text. Okay, obviously, our text is about space exploration, so there will be a lot of words, there will be a lot of vocabulary which will be relevant to space and outer space and space exploration. There might be words you will come across which are new to you, and no, don't worry, new words will be only added to your vocabulary and you will eventually learn. If there is a word that you do not have you do not know, you do not understand the meaning of, what I'd like you to do is um, keep your pencil in your hand, and while we're reading the text, I'd like you to write down what you understand the meaning could be. Okay? So that would be your contextual meaning. The meaning based on the context, based on the text that you are reading. Okay. Hamail. Oh, wait, not Hamail, but instead I will ask Khalid. I'd like you to kindly start reading the text. Khalid?
He left.
Every time I ask this boy to participate, he leaves. Okay, Arsalan, I'd like you to start reading the text, please. Unmute yourself and start
And
reading.
which book?
Sorry,
And which book?
it's Oxford Progressive English, Book 8, bete. We are having our English lesson.
Ma'am, I didn't bought that one.
Doesn't matter, sweetheart. That is the reason why I have the text on your screen. You can see the screen, can't you?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Then
Okay.
we can read from here.
Uh, World News stunt pilot swoop to catch sun dust probe.
What do you think is a probe?
Ma'am, a space shuttle.
A space shuttle? Oh, not exactly, but okay, I'll take the word. Yes.
Wrong. It promises to be a scene worthy of a science fiction
Science
spectacular.
fiction, science
Science
fiction,
fiction. मैम साइंस फिक्शन कहाँ लिखा है?
science fiction ये लिखा है.
Oh, it promises to be a scene worthy of a
Just a minute.
science fiction.
Just a minute. Let me have a look. 8 minute. I can't even see myself. Wait. Can you see this picture? Is it clear? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
This is not exactly a spacecraft, but it's a tiny vehicle, you can say. A space probe is basically a small vehicle that scoops out dust from particular place that you like. For example, अक्सर आप लोगों ने सुना होगा that space missions are sent to Mars or on the moon, and over there they have collected samples of liquid, samples of the dust. ठीक है. अक्सर हम सुनते हैं दैट मार्स पे पानी डिस्कवर हो गया, मून पे पानी डिस्कवर हो गया. ठीक है. Any sort of liquid, any sort of powdery solid which is discovered, which जिसका sample लेने की ज़रूरत हो so that it can be studied on the planet Earth, it is collected through this small vehicle which is called a probe. Okay, this probe is then taken up to the space shuttle, and that space shuttle will send it back to um, Earth, for so that the whatever material has been collected inside the probe can be studied upon. Okay. Yes, please, Arsalan. Let's start from it promises again. Okay, please start from here again.
It it promises to be a scene worthy of a science fiction spectacular. A space probe carrying primordial material scooped from outer space starts to plunge towards our planet. But before it can strike, a helicopter flown by a Hollywood stunt pilot swoops to seize the craft, preventing it from hitting the ground. The probe and its mysterious cargo are returned safely for investigation by scientists. It sounds fantastic, but this precise scenario is to take place in a few weeks over America's Utah
Utah.
desert, Utah desert, where NASA attempts to capture its $150 million Euro Genesis spacecraft, which has traveled more than 2 million miles through space in the last 3 years as it plunges towards Earth.
Thank you very much. Now, until now, we have certain words. Um, the first one is primordial. What do you think primordial means? Guess. Take a guess.
Important.
Okay, very good. It's important. Can someone else give it a shot? What do you think it could mean? Primordial. Please, people, participate. Can you guess what primordial means? Okay, Google it up if you can. Are we Googling it? Yes. Has anyone found the answer? Primordial basically means something that is existing from the start of, or from the beginning of the creation of Earth. Okay? Uh, so, whatever material is there in outer space, it is the same which, uh, you know, have you heard of the Big Bang Theory? Can you guys hear me? Have you heard of the Big Bang Theory? Give me a yes or a
Yes.
no at least.
Yes.
Okay. Now, those of you who haven't, it is said that there are certain scientists who believe that it was not God. Well, obviously, once you start studying science in detail, you tend to lose your belief in the existence of God. If you have noticed, most of the scientists, they are atheists. They do not believe in the existence of God. Now, the thing is, they believe that there is no God, but the world, the whole universe was actually a big ball of gases. And those gases, they were contracting, or they were compressing, and they compressed so much so that there was no longer space. There was no longer enough space for them to compress. Okay. For example, there is a limit to how much you can press a spring, isn't it? After that limit, what will happen? The spring will bounce back. Similarly, that ball of gases, when it had compressed enough, okay, it expanded, it burst up. When that ball of gas burst out in the form of a bang, it just obviously just like any explosion, everything exploded and scattered those, and there were multiple chunks of those gaseous balls after exploding that just sprayed all over the vacuum. With the passage of time, those balls of gas, they started cooling down, and they formed planets. They formed multiple galaxies. Those galaxies further cooled down and formed solar systems and comets and meteors and planets. And then that was how the universe came into existence. Now, the word primordial means that the substance from that big bang. Get the idea? From the start of the universe, any material, now it could be any material, the water on our planet Earth, it could also be considered primordial because it is the same water which was there when Adam came to Earth, when the dinosaurs existed. They drank the same water. Okay, they used the same water that was there at the initial start of the planet Earth. Okay. Um, Now, up till now, in these three paragraphs, we've studied that they are describing a scene, okay, that such and such thing will happen. A probe will fall down, and before that probe hits the ground, that is, before it can strike means before it can hit the ground. What will happen? A helicopter, which is by the Hollywood stunt pilots in their helicopter will swoop. They will swoop down and they will seize the craft. Seize means grasp, catch, preventing it from hitting the ground. The basic idea is to not let the probe hit the ground, because once it hits the ground, it is going to smash. If it smashes, whatever is inside will be lost, and it is difficult to gather things from the space. The probe and its mysterious cargo returned safely for investigation by the scientists. It sounds fantastic. It sounds spectacular. It sounds out of this world, and it sounds very interesting and amazing. But this precise scenario is to take place in a few weeks. That is, it has not happened as yet. It is yet to happen. A few weeks from now, in over what will be the space? What will be the setting? The above the desert of the above the American desert of Utah. Utah is where NASA has its space station. Um, they whatever space missions they send out in this space, they usually return in Utah because the weather conditions are similar. It's dry, and the other weather conditions are similar to that of outer space. Now, what is going to happen? NASA is going to attempt to capture its 150 million pound Genesis spacecraft. So the space probe we are talking about, it is called Genesis. And how much is it worth? This much. 150 million pounds. This symbol
Ma'am,
is for pounds. Yes, Ariba.
ma'am, the time is 9:31.
The time is 9:31. Okay, don't worry. Now, tomorrow, I want you guys to at least read through this text, only report one, and we will discuss it tomorrow, inshallah, in the class. Um, for the second time, I'm asking you guys to please switch on your cameras while you are in the class. From tomorrow, I will start removing you. Even if I have to teach one child, I will start removing you guys from the class if you will not switch on your cameras. Now, before you leave, I request you guys to kindly mark your attendance.
Ma'am, we have marked it.
If you have
Ma'am,
already
I have
marked your
already marked it.
If you have already marked your attendance, it's okay. You are allowed to leave. Take your little break before you have your second class. Thank you very much. You are now free to
Graphics,
go.
ma'am.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.